Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we will be looking at the cost of buying the water that we drink from the supermarket, and we will compare this with drinking water from the tap. And I say compare, but essentially we will be looking at which is the cost of buying the water in the supermarket, because the water that we drink from the tap, its cost is almost €0. Of course, just when considering the water that we drink. The idea with this video is to illustrate in figures the cost of buying water that we drink from the supermarket, because there are people like me who drink always water from the tap no matter where they live at, whether it's in Barcelona where water is pretty disgusting, or here in Munich where the water is super nice. And we do all of this just to save more money. But then there are others who are not as cheap as I am and who prefer to always buy the water that they drink from the supermarket. But now let's stop the talking and go straight into the calculations. Firstly, and very important, we need to first define which are the bases that we will use for this example. In this case, we will assume that we are one person who drinks 2 liters of water every day as it is recommended, and who buys always the cheapest water in the supermarket. In terms of prices of water, looking online, at least here in Germany, the cheapest one I could find was of 12 cents for each liter. With that in mind, this would mean that we would spend 24 cents per day to drink water, which really seems quite insignificant. But if we look at it over a year, this would amount to €87.60 spent. And now, if we look at it over a time span of 65 years, considering that most of our lives we drink water that we buy from the supermarket, this would amount to €5,694. As I just said, all of this might not seem like that much. But what would have happened if we had taken all of the money that we spent in buying water from the supermarket and instead we had invested it in the stock market? Well, we would essentially have now €116,300 instead of having spent almost €5,700. And in case now you're saying that this is not possible, that I made it up and so on, this is considering that we invested in the stock market at an average annualized return of 7%, which by the way, it's being conservative and it's less than what the stock market has given historically, which has been around 10%, and that we do this consistently and we're investing €7.30, that it's what we would spend in water, and instead we invested in the stock market, and we do this every single month, as I said, for 65 consecutive years. Seeing this, we could even say that having bought the water that we drink from the supermarket could have costed us €110,606, because this is how much we could have made if we had invested this 5,000, almost €700 instead of spending them. Anyways, we will leave it for now since this is not the main topic of the video, and let's go now over the conclusions. Personally, as I already said, I always drink water from the tap and I never buy it from the supermarket. And after having done this example, I'm even happier to be drinking water from the tap. And now I know that not everyone will agree, but with these €87.60 that we said that we would spend a year on drinking water, I could use all of that money to feed myself with food for a full month. But now looking at something else, which is that in the example that we have set, we have considered that we were buying the cheapest water in the supermarket. But what would have happened if we instead had bought a more quality brand, such as for instance Vitel? In that case, each liter costs 53 cents, and please note that it's not even the most expensive water out there. And if we were to do that, we would spend €386.90 a year and €25,148.50 over the course of 65 years. And that is not it, because now we have spoken only about money-related topics, but what about the environment? Buying cheap water like the one that we have mentioned comes in plastic bottles. And as we all know, plastic bottles pollute a lot. And unless we recycle them, it takes 450 years on average for one plastic bottle to fully decompose. And this is not me making this up, it is extracted directly from the official website of the Worldwide Fund for Nature. And the last point that many people are concerned about with water is health. Because some people drink bottled water because they think that it is healthier. But is it really? According to a study published in Frontiers of Chemistry in 2018, After analyzing 259 bottled waters, they found out that 93% of them contained microplastic particles. And I know that now you might be thinking, and what about tap water? Well, yes, it also contains microplastics, and according to another article published, they found out that different tap waters contained on average 83% of microplastic particles, which is still a lot, but it's less than bottled water. And more concretely, out of this tap water, the US had the highest concentration of microplastic with 94%, and the lowest contamination rates were in Europe with UK, Germany and France with only 72%. So with everything that we have mentioned now, my main takeaways are the following, which is that if you are buying bottled water, it must be because you like better the taste of it. Because for the rest, there's no real advantage. You are polluting more the environment, it costs more money, and it is not even healthier than drinking water from the tap, at least in developed countries. Personally, I go with water from the tap. But what about you? What do you usually drink? Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the topic. In any case, thank you very much for watching the video all the way till the end. If you enjoyed it, then please make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and as always, see you next time.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.